I'm slightly biased because I'm involved in boxing, and I see the pitfalls that a lot of boxers find themselves in, because a lot of them don't understand about money, about finances. A lot of them struggle when everybody struggles when they're skinned, but then they also can struggle when they all of a sudden get into the big fights and they've got these lumps of money, because you go, people that aren't aware, you go for long periods without earning anything, and then if you're in a big fight, you get a big chunk of money. And then a lot of people, when they're not used to that, they think that that's forever and think it's going to consistently keep coming, and they don't plan for anything. They might spend, unwisely just on things that aren't beneficial to them in the long run. Or somebody gets in their ear and starts saying, why don't you invest in this, invest in that? And we've heard so many stories of fighters that have been world champions, had successful careers, and 5-10 years after they've retired, they're broke, either having to come back, which is not a healthy situation for the majority of fighters, or they're doing, working on a door or struggling to make ends meet. The thing that Activtrades coming in, for them to come in, I think it's a massive thing for boxers and for boxing people, It's supporting them, because they've got a team where they're always there on the end of the phone, or if they want to meet up, where they can be educated about what can they do, not what should you do with the money, what can you do with your money, what your options. They don't say you should do this, should do that. It's kind of like advisory by people that know what they're doing, just to educate you about trading, because there's a lot of people out there, outside of boxing obviously, that trading's their job, and the wise ones, the smart ones, making the smart investments and the educated investments are making a lot of money or making a living. That's all it is, or just making sure that the money that they're not losing. Obviously there's no guarantees to anything, but if you're educated in it and if you understand it a little bit more, it gives you more of a chance, because you can stick money in a bank account and it's not going to earn you anything, and eventually it's just getting whittled away. What I'm trying to educate my kids, obviously my fighters and myself, where I would always hope to have money that makes money and make your money earning and increasing, rather than just being sat there and we're just going to get whittled away. Because over time, bills, life, holidays, you think you've got this money there and it just gets whittled away. And like I said, you're not guaranteed to keep getting nice lumps of pay. We all know it's not just boxers. We hear stories about footballers. When people start earning money and they're not in a job that's gonna, you're working 8-10 hours a day, you're training a couple hours a day, 3-4 hours a day, whatever, then you've got all this time, free time. If you're sat there, how many people do we hear about, sports people, that they like to gamble, they're gambling, bookies, online betting, this, and that can create a serious problem, and there's no real brain training in that. You're learning a skill, you're learning and like you say, another occupation really, because it might, if it's an interest in you in learning about trading, then you can pick things up pretty fast. And like I said, it's educating yourself on what's good. Even if you just sit there, spend 6 months just learning about it first. Before I do anything, I like to study things and get a feel for it first, and understand what I'm looking at before I start spending my money on things, before I start investing in things. And that's what you've got the opportunity to do there with Activtrades. And like I said, there's people there that are gonna, you're not just going to go into it blind. There's people there that can advise you, teach you, kind of coach you. And so in your spare time, you're doing something that's potentially profitable, but also interesting, and keeps your brain occupied, because you're learning a new skill as well. It's I always say as well with boxing and sport, you can't let your emotions control your decisions. Trading, boxing, football, things like that, it's kind of the same sort of mentality, where you've got to be like that. You've got to understand it's not gonna take off and be beautiful, and it's, there's going to be times when you're going to hit a slump and you're going to be like, wow, what's going on here? But this is where, if you're not going to it blind, it'll kind of help you more. It'll allow you to stay calm and make the right decisions. Like I said, there's no guarantees in anything. There's no guarantees in boxing. People spend their lives from a young age devoting it to becoming a champion. How many people actually make it to be a champion? How many people actually make it to make enough money that way, if you look back, divide it by the hours that you're working, on an hourly wage, how much you're actually really earning out of boxing? Not a lot, So it's the same as everything, really. There's no guarantees in everything, but at least if you're being educated, you're arming yourself and giving yourself a little bit more of a chance of being successful.